Hello everyone, it's Old Guardian here. In this Warcraft Rumble campaign guide, I'm going to take a look at Onyxia, and I'm going to take a look at Onyxia with Drakkisath and showcase my favorite army for Drakkisath for this specific encounter. Now, Onyxia is a very complex fight, so let's take a look at what exactly is happening in the Onyxia fight first. Onyxia's army consists of Drake, Gargoyle, Griffin Rider, Necromancer, Spiderlings and Warsong Grunts, and currently there is no heroic version of Onyxia, so none of these minis have talents, because only the heroic minis have talents, regular minis don't, so just without talents. Onyxia herself has 18,000 health at level 1, because it's useful to compare level 1 values typically in Rumble because of exponential scaling. And Onyxia deals 375 elemental damage with her 4-second attack speed attack. Onyxia's range is 12, which means that only a talented meat wagon can outrange Onyxia. Plague Farmers, Sylvanas, they still are within Onyxia's reach. In the first phase of the Onyxia fight, groups of whelp eggs are going to spawn. They first spawn at 5:40, the fight is 6 minutes long, so 20 seconds into the fight, and then every 90 seconds, so at 4:10, 2:40 and 1:10, and then in overtime at 1:40 and 0:10. And these times are something that you really want to be aware of, because you want to save enough code so that you will be able to counter those whelp eggs. The eggs will spawn in two positions. They will spawn one group here on the left lane and another group here on the right lane. And clearing them, you typically want to use something like Witch Doctors or Drakes or maybe Firehammers or Pyromancers. There's a few alternatives, but you really want to have units that are capable of clearing those. If you do not clear the eggs immediately, then they will automatically pop after 30 seconds, and then the whelps are going to come straight at your base. Although you can also use that to your advantage sometimes, especially if you want to clear them with Pyromancer, because Pyromancer is actually better against the spawned whelps. Onyxia's gold income in phase 1 is only 0.2 gold per second, so that's considerably lower than the player, but Onyxia will get more gold with every phase. And that's why you typically want to stay in phase 1 as long as possible, get everything ready and then start pushing. At the start of phase 2, Onyxia is going to wipe the top part of the map, including the top towers. So somewhere along this line, there's going to be a wipe. Now all of your minis in that area are going to be destroyed. Both of these towers are going to be destroyed, and Onyxia will start rebuilding them. Also, Onyxia gains resist at the start of phase 2, so she will only take 50% elemental damage from here on. At the start of phase 2 also, Onyxia is going to summon 4 Earth Elementals, and she's going to repeat this every 50 seconds. And Earth Elemental, as I'm recording this, just recently got a 10% health buff, and Onyxia's Earth Elementals are regular Earth Elementals, so they also got plus 10% health. 12 spawns will continue, and Onyxia's gold income is also increased to 0.3 gold per second, slightly lower than the player, and that means 50% more minis are coming at you. And finally, in phase 3, the same start as phase 2, so there's going to be the wipe, knockback and a wipe, and those two towers are going to change owners. And also at the start of phase 3, Onyxia is going to gain armor, so now she also has 50% damage reduction against physical damage, and she also gives the resist, so both armored and resistant in phase 3. Onyxia also summons 2 powerful warders at the start of phase 3. She summons them right by her side, and they're going to start making their way to the middle and then to your base. And these warders are only summoned once, so once you defeat them they are not going to respawn, but they are pretty sturdy. 2800 health, they have resist, so physical damage can be stronger against them. They have 9 rage, and they deal 120 elemental damage with their area of effect attack. That has an attack speed of 1.4 seconds, so quite often. The Earth Elemental and the Whelp spawns are also going to continue, and Onyxia's gold income is going to be increased to 0.4 gold per second. So now Onyxia is going to get more gold than you will get as a player, on top of all of her other things. And that's why you really don't want to stay in Onyxia phase 3 for an extended period of time. So the general strategy for Onyxia is to gain map control in phase 1, set up any static defenses that you may have. You may have stuff like Skeleton Party with Ritual of Rhyme, you may have Drake with Roost, you may have Whelpex, anything that you have, just set them up. Then at the start of phase 2, retake the towers, preferably with some kind of Whelpex or stuff that you have, set up a push and maybe also a follow-up push, so that you would phase Onyxia to phase 3, and then your other push would already be on its way, but not quite at the wipe area, so that then they will just get to Onyxia as quickly as possible. You typically want to start phase 3 at around the start of overtime, so that the overtime gold can help you, although that depends on your levels. Sometimes you might just be able to push one phase after another. But typical progression would be to stay a while in phase 1, then push phase 2, stabilize, and then phase 3. The way I like to do it in phase 3 is to push hard from the right and then defend the other lanes. That's because there's no way to go wrong with pushing from right. If you push from left, then sometimes your minis can get confused here at the tower and then start working their way towards the other tower actually. Or that also happens, sometimes you push through the middle and then some minis go to the left and some minis go to the right. But when you go to the right side, then there can be no pathing issues because there's no path towards the left from the right side. And this is my favorite army for Drakkisath for Onyxia. I actually tested a whole bunch with different levels and different things. So I'm going to show you 2 fights. I'm going to show you a kill with the level 29 Drakkisath and then a pretty close one with the level 26 Drakkisath. Level 26 is probably the lowest Drakkisath can possibly be in this fight. I would highly recommend level 27 plus, because that would make things a lot easier. But the higher your Drakkisath, the better. Drakkisath is really the definitive mini in this. And then this is actually average level 26.9 if this was in a correct slot. But there is a lesson about this, because the reason this is in an incorrect slot, I mean I could switch them around so that it would be in a correct slot, is that I wanted bandits in my opening hand. And in order to get bandits in my opening hand, I had to change them to a different position, as you can do in campaign missions. Once the random seed is set, then it's based on the army slots, and if you move your minis around, you can get a different starting hand. Obviously, I could have also just switched the slots around, rerolled them a couple of times, but I wasn't that committed to it yet here. So then I just ended up going with the bandits. Bandits with level 22, and I mean, for bandits it was completely fine. For the other minis, Drake, really good at taking out Whelpex. It kills the Whelp at the same time if it's, I believe, level 24 or above, so super strong. It doesn't have to be very high level either. Then there's Pyromancer. If the Pyromancer is level 28, then it can one-shot Whelps. If it's below, it needs 2 hits, but that's still quite alright. Then we have Skeleton Party with Ritual of Rhyme. Ritual of Rhyme is going to be used to build static defenses around my base and around the towers. I also like to use these to defend the top towers, so that they can help me just stabilize a little bit there, even though they are of course going to get wiped at every phase change. Then I have Witch Doctor. Witch Doctor is a true hero here, just a phenomenal mini. Level 24 is enough to take the right side of Whelps, but in order to take the left side Whelps, you have to be level 26. So there's a bit of a difference with the Witch Doctor levels on which side of Whelps you can take, because the Whelps are positioned a little bit differently, so the Whelps that are coming at you are going to come a little bit differently. So there's some slight level issues there. Then the Device Bandits with Picklock, they're here to get me a whole bunch of gold. Their level doesn't really matter too much. And then I have Shaman with Earthshield. Earthshield is really good because it can give armor to Drakkisath, and armored Drakkisath is much stronger against Griffin Riders and against Warzone Grunts. But you might be able to get by even without that. And the higher the Shaman level, of course, the higher the healing. And that's pretty much what the army does. Phase 1, let's get map control, build up static defenses. Phase 2, let's retake towers, build up static defenses, set up a bigger push, because now Onyxia is going to be resistant, so Drakkisath is only going to deal half of its original damage. And then also try to set it up so that we get the last phase around the start of overtime, and we have sent another army, the start of another death ball from the base before the phase change, so that it doesn't get wiped, and then it proceeds to Onyxia and kill her. So that's a pretty tall ask. That's a lot of things have to go right. But here's a couple of takes on how fights have been going on with this specific army in action. So here we go with the level 29 Drakkisath, and I have these Defiance Bandits in my opening hand. And the opener is something that you really need to practice, because it depends on Onyxia's opening hand, so you need to experiment a little bit with playing what and Onyxia responds with what, so that you can decide what is going to be the optimal beginning for you. And here the optimal beginning was to send that kobold, because sending that kobold actually gets Onyxia to start committing to the middle. If I play something else, then Onyxia may commit to one of the other lanes, and then I wouldn't get this push this way that I wanted to go. So here we go. Everything's going quite alright, except that I didn't lose the Drake this time because there was a Griffin Rider. I don't think that happened every time. But anyway, Witch Doctor is doing great, Drakkisath is doing great. I start building up some of the static defenses. And then there's a gargoyle now. I don't think all of these things happened. I didn't do that many pushes with this setup, but I don't think all of these things happened every time. Anyway, now that there's the gargoyle, then it actually takes the tower, and I have to start fighting back. So let's go and fight back. Luckily, I am able to retake the tower quite effectively. Now, my skeleton body positioning in the middle is not ideal, but it will have to do. Drakkisath takes everything else. Drakkisath, the level 29 Drakkisath is so incredibly strong. Actually, my biggest problem here is that, well, not maybe my biggest, but one of the problems that I sometimes have here with level 29 Drakkisath is that level 9 Drakkisath may end up pushing Onyxia with the first attack to the next phase, and I don't want that to happen because my static defenses are not in position yet. I don't have everything else at the level where I would be able to support just going in and boom. But obviously that would be an option. But I'm still here building up some of these defenses. I did not put defenses on the top towers yet. The power of that Drakkisath was just so good because I also used those to help my Drakkisath move along. But hey, not needed a level 29 Drakki. Necessarily lower level Drakkisath though, so a little bit of variation is needed depending on your levels, but overall the strategy still works with a wide variety of levels. So here that Drake is unfortunately going to clear some of my worlds, but I think that skeleton bodies, look at the skeleton body is now in a good position there, because it's able to shoot at the Drake without getting shot in return. The center skeleton body would be able to do the same if it was a little bit lower. It's a little bit high right now. So it was mispositioned by like 1 centimeter or so. Anyway, 3 minutes remaining in the fight, so I'm sending out an SOS and a Drakkisath as well. So another Drakkisath is going. I'm hoping to initiate a push here. Moving Onyxia to phase 2. So first I built some static defenses. Now 3 minutes remaining. I spent 3 minutes building up. Then I started sending in order to try to get them. Try to get the phase change. And here again that Drakkisath is just... It's just... I mean, it's just very impressive. For a level 26 Drakkisath, I would need 2 shamans healing it in order to keep it alive. Not here. Maybe 1 shaman for the first phase would be enough. Anyway, the Drakkisath kept pushing, and I sacrificed the Pyromancer there on the left side. I really wanted to get rid of the Drake. I didn't want Onyxia to have minis here at the towers, because her minis are not wiped out, only my minis are. So if she had minis there at the towers, then it would be so much more difficult for me to get those towers, because I would obviously just have to start fighting against the Drake immediately. But I was able to get a Pyromancer out there. Pyromancer was able to just barely kill the Drake, then it died, but that did not matter anymore. It accomplished exactly what I wanted to do. And I was able to retake the towers. I have some defenses up. Those Pyromancers, Witch Doctors going without Drakkisath obviously don't do anything. And now I start to build my push that is going to hopefully take me to the last phase. So I send it all the way from my base, and I send it all the way from my base because I want to be able to gain more gold, so that then I will be able to add to that push, and I will be able to start building the next push. And that was actually a pretty lucky Earth Elemental. The Drakkisath decides to pursue the Earth Elemental. Well, maybe not. Actually, now that my army is split in half, that didn't go quite so well. Yeah. Sometimes. The Earth Elemental spawn every 50 seconds. But let's see how this fight is going to go. The rest of the team is able to contest the tower, and now Drakkisath is joining in. So this could still go okay. I still believe in this. I'm rebuilding that tower. I'm sending another Drakkisath. I'm sending another shaman. A Witch Doctor, a couple of Drakkisaths, couple of Witch Doctors, couple of Drakkisaths, and a shaman. I believe that will be enough. I hope. Sending a Pyromancer to help out on the other tower. Do I have enough? I think I have enough. Maybe a second shaman. Now that the grunts are there. Grunts and a necromancer. Ooh, that was actually... Ouch, Onyxia had some good stuff coming. I hope that the Drakkisaths will be able to handle this though. I'm trying to get the next push on its way. Okay, this is like the scariest of the moments. Because now I'm pushing, and then I have the others coming, and I need to get the phase change so that my Drakkisath does not end up dead. I sent the other Drakkisath from the bottom base because I was a little bit afraid that the Drakkisath would end up dead, and it did. Yeah, but the shaman lived, so we're actually completely fine. We have 2 shamans and 2 Drakkisaths. We have 3 shamans and 2 Drakkisaths. And yeah, so the timing can be a little tough there, but you can find it. You just work on it a little bit, and sometimes even failing on that bit can still be okay. Oh dear, oh dear. Now losing that Witch Doctor was bad. I lost much of my static defenses. There's a warder coming through the middle. So I'm trying to replenish my defenses a little bit. I'm sending on Drakkisath to tank the warder. And then I'm also trying to support the push that I have going on Onyxia. 42 seconds remaining. I have 2 Drakkisaths, 3 Witch Doctors, 3 Drakkisaths, 3 Witch Doctors, 2 Shamans. Okay, we should be able to do this. I'm dropping some Rhyme Skeletons out there for a little bit of distraction so that I can get a bit more healing going in. And trying to look a little bit, do I need to support? I'm dropping another set of Rhyme Skeletons so I get 1 attack on the other side. And Onyxia goes down. Phew. Then I have this other fight here. This is with a level 26 Drakkisath, and experiences with this comp actually are the reason why I think level 27 is what I would recommend starting from, although 26 should also be possible. So here I don't have Defiance Bandits in my opening hand. I actually did consider switching my slots around so that I would get them in my opening hand, but I figured this might be good enough. So here I cannot avoid the Gargoyle hitting my base once, but I believe I'm fine with that. Maybe if I had switched the slots around a little bit, got the Defiance Bandits in my opening hand, get additional gold from the chest. Who knows how much it could have changed. Anyway, Drakkisath attacking here, and here Drakkisath, I mean, it doesn't have quite the health of 29 Drakkisath, so I'm using the Rhyme Skeletons here to slow down the tower and also add some DPS, and then they will also remain there in order to defend that tower. However, sometimes Drakkisath decides to wander off on its own. Well, it depends actually, because there were those grunts that it was trying to attack, so that's why it wandered off. If Onyxia does not summon the grunts, it doesn't wander over there. That also has happened to me, so sometimes with no grunts. But even without the Drakkisath, I should be able to take the tower. And I really didn't care about the Drakkisath in the sense that I don't want to push Onyxia here yet anyway. So what I want is I just want that tower. The tower is what I want. Can I please have the tower? Yes, I can. Alright. Now I have the tower, and there I have Witch Doctor and Pyromancer fighting against the Necromancer, making my kobold survive. It's wonderful. I'm getting all the income that I need. I'm just try to cycle through my deck a little bit here. And also eggs are coming, so time to get the Drake and the Witch Doctor out there. I like to send the Pyromancer together with the Witch Doctor. It's not necessary. Witch Doctor can at 27 or at 26. It can kill all of those Whelpacks. Even at 25 on that side. I think 24 on that side actually. But I mean, the Pyromancer there just makes it faster, and it makes so that the Witch Doctor doesn't take any damage. But for the most part, I'm sending stuff through the left lane. There the Drakes are going and getting some eggs out there. What I should have done here is get more eggs also on the right side, although I do already have an egg on the right side here, so actually that's completely fine. We're fine for phase 2. Now we just need the right timing. That skeleton party could also be a little bit lower so that it doesn't open the chest, so that you could always open that chest with the bandits. Not fully certain which positioning is better. Around 3 minutes remaining, and we're starting to push with Drakkisath. Drakkisath Shaman, Pyromancer, the basic push team here. And they are going to go in and they are going to get me the first phase change. Static defenses are ready for the most part, only basically missing the central tower defenses. And I put another shaman out there, so now with 2 shamans, Pyromancer, Drakkisath, that push is going to go through. Now this is the correct positioning for those skeleton party, so that they will be able to shoot down incoming drakes. Also the top left ones should be able to do pretty good job against the drake. Let's see, although a little bit of help was good. Now we got the phase change and I was able to get the drake down. Before that I had actually lost the whelpegs on the right side before the phase change. I hadn't realized that. Well, that's an inconvenience for sure. Also those whelps coming on the... Yikes, the whelps. You okay? Well, a little bit tough. But we have Drakkisath coming and reclaiming the towers. I'm trying to help out the tower against the drake, but that doesn't seem to be necessary, so I can send the Pyromancer to help the Drakkisath. Fighting for the central tower. My drake is hard at work there. Gargoyle keeps taking the tower back, but it's fine. Getting more shamans here. Although I'm not sure if I can actually get this push to go through with... No, I don't think that's enough. I think I would need more. So, 1 Drakkisath, 2 shamans, but there's no grunts. And the grunts are going to kill the Drakki. They probably already did. No, they didn't yet. But the 3rd shaman will not help. I need DPS against the grunts. I need the Pyromancer there. Ouch, I did not send that, and now I have lost the Drakkisath and I have lost the top left tower as well. Well, at least the Pyromancer helps me reclaim the top left tower. And my static defenses are online. But failing that push means that I will now be a little bit late. So maybe I should not have placed my static defenses so that I open both chests with skeleton bodies, so that I would be able to get a little bit more gold with the Defiance Bandits. And then I should have also planned the push. I maybe committed too much to the Drakkisath that I used to take the right tower. Probably should have just built a new one from behind a little bit. Just take the tower, then build another push, instead of committing 3 shamans to a push that ultimately failed. I think that was a pretty big reason why. Oh, that timing on that. Oof. The timing on that Pyromancer was not great. Anyway, 140. Overtime, time to get some whelpegs down, and now I am starting to send a Drakkisath push here. I believe that I will be able to get the phase change. Yes, there's the phase change. Messed up the Pyromancer timing. Couple of mistakes there. I'm not sure if I really needed to fight back on the tower. Probably wasn't useful, yeah. So, also the player is crumbling a bit here. But we do have a Drakkisath push with 2 Drakkisaths, 2 shamans, 2 witch doctors, 3 witch doctors even. I'm trying to get the shaman to join the push. And yes, it will. I have enough shamans, but will I have enough time? So... very, very close. Push has now reached Onyxia, but on less than 30 seconds to go. I'm trying to get another shaman out there, keep healing, get a witch doctor, get a pyromancer, get everything. Anything that can deal damage. Trying to get the skeleton body out there. Increase Onyxia a little bit, deal more damage, deal more damage, deal more damage, deal more damage, and no, not fast enough. So 26 possible, but yeah, it's really, really tight. Thank you for watching. Click like and subscribe if you enjoyed this, and a special thanks to all of my Patreon supporters, YouTube members and Twitch subscribers who make all of these videos possible.